If you've ever looked out of an airplane window before takeoff or landing, you've probably noticed parts of the wing moving. Panels slide out, the wing suddenly gets bigger, and sometimes it looks like the wing is literally opening up. Those are called flaps, and they're one of the most important parts of an airplane wing, because without them, takeoffs and landings would be much harder, and in some cases, impossible. To understand why flaps exist, you first need to understand one problem airplanes have. At cruising speed, wings work very efficiently. Planes fly fast, so the wing naturally creates enough lift. But during takeoff and landing, everything changes. The aircraft is flying much slower. And slower speed means less airflow over the wings. Less airflow means less lift. And that becomes a huge problem, because during takeoff, the plane needs enough lift to leave the runway safely. And during landing, it needs to fly slowly enough to land safely without using too much runway. That's where flaps come in. When pilots extend flaps, the shape of the wing changes. The wing becomes more curved. And on many aircraft, the wing also becomes larger because the flaps slide backward. That helps create more lift at lower speeds. And flaps help by increasing both wing area and lift coefficient, which means the plane can safely fly slower. That's why aircraft don't need insanely long runways every time they take off. But flaps create something else too: drag. And during cruise, drag is bad because it burns more fuel. That's why flaps stay retracted after takeoff. But during landing, drag actually helps. It slows the aircraft down and helps it descend safely. That's why pilots extend flaps in stages during landing. Flaps 1, flaps 5, flaps 15, and more depending on the aircraft. Each setting changes how the airplane behaves. And flap settings aren't always the same. Pilots choose different settings depending on aircraft weight, weather, runway length, and airport conditions. A heavier aircraft may need different settings. Shorter runways can change decisions too. And hot weather matters more than most people realize. Hot air is less dense. Less dense air means less lift. That's one reason performance calculations before takeoff are so important. And flaps can't be extended at any speed. Every aircraft has flap speed limits. If pilots extend them too fast, they can damage the wing. That's why crews wait until the aircraft reaches safe speeds before moving them. And flaps aren't working alone. Modern aircraft also use slats. These are located on the front edge of the wing. Most passengers don't notice them. Slats extend forward and help manage airflow over the wing at slower speeds. Together, slats and flaps allow aircraft to safely fly slower during takeoff and landing. And there's something passengers often notice after takeoff. You might hear mechanical sounds from the wings. Clicks, whining sounds, movement. That's often the flaps retracting. Once the aircraft gains enough speed, it no longer needs that extra lift. Retracting the flaps reduces drag and makes the plane more efficient. During landing, the exact opposite happens. Pilots extend flaps again to help slow down and maintain lift. Without flaps, planes would need to land much faster. That would require much longer runways. And many airports simply wouldn't work for modern airliners. So next time you're sitting near the wing and see parts of it moving, you're watching one of the most important systems on the aircraft. Most passengers barely notice it. But without flaps, modern air travel would look completely different.